සංසාර සාරෝග විනීතනි සම් සන්නේත සාතං සුචිසාරදී සම් සන්ධීරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසම් සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ බිසාසම් සසර සැඩ සායුර නවතා නිවන් වැඩ පැතිර නැති දිරිමත් රං පතක් ලෙඩ නිතර දිලෙන තුම් සදහම් දෙසන ලද වැතිර වඳිමි මගේ සම්බුදු මහිමි සඳ සමන්ත චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්ධම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තු සග්ග මොක්ඛදම් ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස දිට්ඨිංච අනුපගම්ම සීලවා දස්සනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනය්‍යගේ ධම් නහි ජාතු ගබ්බසෙයං පුනරේති. Okay, dear Dhamma friends, here I would like to explain very special discourse that we usually practice, Karaniya Metta Sutta. In Tripitaka it says as Metta Sutta, but we usually say it as Karaniya Metta Sutta, but its real name is Metta Sutta. Okay, Metta Sutta comes in both books. One of them is Sutta Nipata, the other in Kuddaka Pata. In both places we can find Metta Sutta. We usually think that Metta Sutta is a blessing discourse, but actually this is not only a blessing discourse, but it has explained the path of liberation. What kind of qualities that we should practice in our day-to-day life. First it describes the primary qualities that we have to practice when we enter the path of liberation. The second step, it has explained the second step of Buddhist discipline, that tranquility or concentration. In the bottom level, it has explained the way that we should get intelligence, the wisdom. Every Buddhist discourse explains the three disciplines. That is very important. Even when we consider one stanza, one word, we can see this order. Three disciplines. Mr. David, can you think what is the three disciplines that Buddhism says, that Buddhism has described? There are three disciplines.
Did we talk about it last time?
Yes, last time also actually we usually explain.
Oh.
There are three.
Doing no harm. Doing no harm.
No harm.
Doing only good.
Yeah, that is also some kind of teachings that Buddha has explained. There is other thing that I mean. Three disciplines. Three disciplines means virtue, tranquility, and wisdom. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Yes, these are the three disciplines. In Buddhism, it says that Adi Sila, Adi Chitta, Adi Panya. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. These are the three steps that we should practice on the path of purification, path of liberation. Virtue means discipline in our speech and behavior. Tranquility or concentration is the mindfulness that we practice to live in the present moment. Wisdom means seeing the impermanence, arising and ceasing of all experience. Every moment our experience arises and ceases. It depends on, that understanding depends on the knowledge of dependent origination, the impermanence, anicca. Okay, here in this discourse, Metta Sutta, we can see this order. First, Buddha has explained 15 qualities that we should practice at the very beginning on the path of liberation. After that, Buddha says the other meditation technique, that loving kindness. And end of the discourse, in the last verse, stanza, Buddha has explained the importance of wisdom, how we achieve intelligence or wisdom. In this, when we consider this discourse, you know what is the reason that Buddha has explained this discourse? What is the purpose? What is the reason? What is the cause that Buddha explained this discourse? You know, in Buddha's period, monks who became the order of Sangha, they mostly gave some advice from the Buddha, and after that they went to the jungles or forest and they practiced meditation. That is the way that they practice. Monks, you know, monks or Sangha means Buddha's disciples. They gave up their properties, their things that they have in their lay life, and they entered the order of the Sangha, and when they became monks, they gave up everything that they had. Their jobs, their properties, their money, their clothes, even their hair, even their lay names, everything that they had, they gave up. Yeah? And Buddha said one day, you know, some people think that when a person who is a prince, when he becomes a monk, it is more important than who came from common background. How would Buddha's introduction, Buddha's attention, Buddha's interpretation about these both differences? You know, there are some persons who became to the order of monks from palaces, from kingdoms. There are some persons who became the order of the Sangha, who came from common background, like servants or merchants. What is the difference? What is the value of both ways, both things? That Buddha says, I don't see a difference whether who came from a palace or who came from an ordinary house. Both of things are more important, that I mentioned, Buddha said. Yeah? If a person when a person who comes from a kingdom, it is important, like a person who came from a very common background. Both giving up both renunciations. Buddha says, I think both things are same. Okay. However, after persons that who attain monkhood, after they became the order of the Sangha, near the Buddha they gave some advice, instructions for the meditation, and after that they mostly went to the very calm places like forests, jungles, monasteries. They went there and they meditated. Most monks came back to the Buddha after receiving the spiritual achievement. After they attained enlightenment, most people came back. Among them, a group of monks who ordained near the Buddha, and they went to the jungle. They went to the Himalaya forest, and they meditated there. While they were meditating, they faced a problem. They met a problem. What was the problem that they had? You know, when they were meditating in the jungle, there were some divine persons, low-level divine persons who were in the trees. The divine persons who were in the trees, they got upset when monks are meditating. Because monks' qualities are more higher than they have. Then they got upset. They couldn't live in the higher places because the higher quality persons are in the ground. They couldn't live in the trees. Therefore, they got upset, and also they fell down, and they tried to put away the monks. Then they showed some fearful sounds, forms, and some smells. They tried to keep away those monks from that place. The monks who went to the jungle, they tried to avoid these difficulties, problems, issues, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't overcome this problem. And finally, they decided to come back to the Buddha. And the group of monks, because they couldn't live in the jungle under the trees, they came back to the Buddha and they explained the problem that they faced. And at that moment, Buddha taught them this discourse. And Buddha advised them, that is the real place that you should live. Learning this discourse, practicing this discourse, and also reciting this discourse, you should live in the same place. And Buddha thanked them again, that place. And here, especially Buddha has explained the importance of practicing loving kindness. And when they practice loving kindness, reciting this discourse every day in the jungle, divine persons who disturbed first, finally they helped this monk. And they were happy. And however, finally, the group of monks, they could achieve their spiritual goals by practicing this discourse and also by reciting this discourse. Since then, monks and lay people try to use this discourse, especially as a blessing, protection discourse, and also this is some kind of meditation technique that we can use in our day-to-day life. But in this period, we mostly use Metta Sutta as only a blessing protection. But it is not only a blessing protection or chanting, But this is the discourse which has explained the path of purification, the path of liberation, and also especially we can see some kind of qualities. This has explained that we can practice in day-to-day life. In current society, we can see some educators, some scientists, social scientists, which they have explained as good qualities, good personality. For a good personality, those qualities can be included in this same discourse. That is very important. When we consider these qualities, we can find out a lot of good qualities that we can practice in our day-to-day life, and how we can generate our spiritual energy. First, it says, Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santam padang abhisamecca sakko ujoja sujoja suvacho chassa mudvanati mani. If a person who wishes to attain peace of mind, who wishes to attain purification, that person should practice these qualities. One by one, Buddha has explained. The first one is sakko. What is the meaning of sakko? Sakko means being able, skillfulness, proficiency. If we want to achieve some kind of goal, first of all, we should be skillful. That is the first quality that we have. But here, Buddha says, what kind of skillfulness that we should have? How do we become a skillful person? What kind of proficiency that Buddha mentioned? Rodrigo, what is your idea? What kind of skillfulness that we should have as a disciple of the Buddha who wish to go on the path of liberation? The skillfulness that we should have, the ability to get rid of evil and practice good. As our friend Mr. David explained before, that is the skillfulness that we should have. Always we should try to avoid from evil, and we try to develop good qualities. We should understand our mental condition, mental situation. Always we should have an ability to protect our mind from defilements, from craving, from anger, from evil, from delusion. That is the skillfulness that we should have. In the current society, people, they think that if they have higher GPA or higher IQ, they are skillful persons. Buddhism also has explained some kind of GPA and IQ. What is the Buddhist GPA? What is the Buddhist IQ? Buddhist GPA is mindfulness, living in the present moment. How far you are clever to live in the present moment, see in your mind. That is the thing that we recognize your skillfulness. What is the IQ that Buddhism says? Wisdom, very good. What is the wisdom? What kind of wisdom that Buddhism says? Buddhism illustrates. Seeing impermanence. Living in the present moment, or mindfulness, is the ability of in the present moment, that is GPA. The IQ is the knowledge or understanding or comprehension of impermanence. What is the impermanence that Buddhism explains? Impermanence means when you think something, the experience arises in this moment. It was not in anywhere before you think. After you experience, it ceases at the moment without remaining anything. But because of ignorance, because of delusion, after experience we may think still it is happening. That is the cause of suffering. That is the nature of ignorance. But the experience arises as soon as you think something, as soon as you listen something, as soon as you remember something, as soon as you hear something, you smell something. If we have this ability to understand every moment, if we have full awareness about mindfulness and impermanence, that is the real proficiency, that is the real ability, that is the real skillfulness that a Buddhist, that the Buddha's disciples should have. That is the skillfulness. Sabko means this kind of skillfulness. Okay? If we are very well educated, although we have a lot of money, Buddhism doesn't say that we are skillful persons. Because although we are well educated, although we have a lot of money, if our mind is not clear, it is unpure, unpurified, then we have no real happiness. Even though we are not well educated, even though we have no lot of money, if we are clever to live in the present moments in the impermanence, we are so happy. We have no defilements. We are living in the present moment. We have overcome suffering. That is why Buddhism always encourages us to be skillfulness. Be skillful. Okay, that is the first quality that we should have, sabko. The second one is ujuca and sujuca. Ujuca means we should be honest. Honesty. Honesty is also one of the qualities that we should practice at the very beginning on this path. Although we have other mistakes, actually we can overcome if we are honest. There was a person in Buddha's period named Angulimala. He had a lot of misbehaviors in his life. He killed more than 900 people. But he was honest. Therefore, he could overcome his all evils in a few months. And that is why Buddhism has explained at the very beginning we should be honest. Buddha has... Yes, that actually he was sincere. That is why he did that kind of thing. He was honest. He was honest. Actually, he was innocent. Not only honest, he was innocent. That is why he did that kind of thing, because of his master's gratitude, his master's sincerity. And also, on the other hand, he was honest. Yeah, gratitude too. That is why he could overcome all things suddenly, as soon as Buddha pointed out his wrong way. Again Buddha said, perfectly, honestly, perfectly upright. First Buddha says you should be honest. Again Buddha has emphasized the importance of the honesty. Perfectly upright, perfectly you should be honest. That is very important. And when Buddha started to explain his message in the world, first of all, he invited us. Etu vinyo puriso asato amaya vinna vankajato. Please come people who are intelligent and who are honest. I am ready to explain you what I know. Therefore, Buddha said here, we should be intelligent and also we should be honest. Without honesty, we have nothing to practice on the path of liberation. If we are honest, we can go on the path of liberation, That is a very important quality, Honesty depends on truth. That is the next quality. Then Buddha said, Sakko ujuja suvajoja suvacho. Sakko ujuja suvajoja suvacho. What is the meaning of suvacha? In Sinhala language also we always use the word of suvacha. In Sinhala language we say kikaru. But kikaru and suvacha are different. What is the meaning of suvacha? Gently spoken. If you are ready to listen to something, good attention. That is the thing of suvacha. That is why you are here. You can go far on the spiritual development because you are ready to listen in something. It means you are ready to overcome your defilements, your mistakes. You are ready to become higher level in your spiritual development because you have good attention. Without attention, we have nothing to learn. Therefore, but we usually use the word that suvacha means obedient. But obedient and suvacha are different. What is the meaning of obedient? Obedient means that if somebody says something, we are ready to do without anything, without we must say like without section, we are ready to follow it. It is not a quality that Buddhism says. Angulimala also obedient. That is why he did that kind of misbehavior. If our master is correct, we are okay. But if our master is wrong, we fall in the hell. That is why Buddhism doesn't say that obedience is a good quality, but the suvacha is the quality everywhere. Suvacha means good attention. We are ready to listen to something, but it doesn't sound that we are ready to practice it. Buddha always advises us, ehi passika, come and see, not come and believe, not come and practice. Buddha says, come and see what I say, the message. Practicing or not, it is your duty. But we should have good attention. That is the quality that we should have on this path. Who wishes to achieve peace of mind? Okay, that is the fourth one. What is the fifth one? Fifth one, mudu. Mudu means flexibility, gentle, flexibility, mrudugatiya. Flexibility. That is also a good quality. Buddha says, in one side we should be honest, we should have good character. On the other hand, according to environment, according to situation, we should be flexible. That is also one of the qualities. Reverend Devadatta, who proposed some proposals, who gave some proposals, that he said to Buddha that, Venerable Sir, make a rule that everybody should be under a jungle, every monk should be under the streets in their entire life. Everybody should away from eating meats and fishes in the entire life. Everybody who are monks should use robes from they got from the cemeteries. And everybody should live with begging food, with bowls. These rules should be made that Devadatta proposed, but the Buddha didn't accept it. But Buddha says, if somebody likes to practice it, anybody can practice it, but I don't make rules that you should do compulsory. Buddha said, I don't say it. But anybody can practice. If you like, you can live as a monk in the jungles or under a tree in your entire life. If you like, as a monk, use that robes which we get from cemeteries. And if a person would like to live with begging foods in his entire life, if you like. But Buddha said, I don't make rules. That is why, that is the thing Buddha's, he shows his flexibility. If Buddha made those rules, what would happen to monks? Now we can see the monks in the world. If we would not see the monks, we can't listen to this message. If we couldn't listen to this message, we would not understand who Buddha is. That is why we should be flexible. Yes, but we should have some kind of limits. We should have some kind of limits according to environment, according to situation. We should be flexible. We should be tolerant. Yes. We should be ready to change something. But we have some kind of limits. We can't overcome some rules, some limits. Always we should understand the limits. What is the limits? Kusala, akusala, wholesome and unwholesome. Those are the limits. That is the fence. Around, in that fence, we can change something. Sometimes there were some danas or some alms giving who had invited before. Then after that, other person invited Buddha, please come to our house. Sometimes Buddha didn't accept the later invitation. But sometimes Buddha accepted, asking from that previous person. After giving admission from the previous person, Buddha has changed some schedules. For example, when Sivali, Reverend Sivali was born, he was in his mother's womb in 7 years and 7 days. After he was born, Sivali's mother wanted to give alms giving for the monks and the Lord Buddha. When they invited Buddha had accepted other alms giving. Then Buddha asked Reverend Moggallana, who's that alms giving? Then that person who had invited Buddha before, that devotee was one of the close devotees of Reverend Moggallana. Then Buddha said to Reverend Moggallana, please go to that person's house and please ask him whether he can postpone this almsgiving. After his wish, Buddha accepted that Sival is done. Okay, that is the nature of flexibility. According to environment, according to situation, we have to change some kind of schedules. That is the nature of flexibility if we are on the path of liberation. Okay. Mudu Anatimani. How is the next stanza? And Suvacho Chassa Mudu Suvacho Chassa Mudu Anatimani. Anatimani means being humble. That is also one of the qualities. You know, there were some monks who were in Buddha's period, such as Sevaran Sariputta. Sariputta was the well-educated person in the dispensation of the Buddha Sasana. You know, he had learned everything which was in Buddha's period. And when we compare in this period, he may have more than 50 doctorates. He had a complete education in that period. Triveda Kelavarata Gihiliti. And you know, Triveda, three Vedas in Indian tradition. Triveda means every education can be included into three Vedas. And although he was so intelligent and well-educated person, actually he was so humble. And also Reverend Sariputta is one of the chief disciples of the Buddha. And also he was the Dhammasenadipati. Dhammasenadipati means the commander of the Dhamma. If we consider Buddha's dispensation as a brigade, he is the commander. Reverend Sariputta was the commander of the Dhamma, because he was so intelligent and also he had a lot of psychic energies too. Although he had a lot of qualifications, before he entered the order of the Sangha, he had a lot of educational qualifications. But you know, when he met Reverend Assaji, first he met Reverend Assaji before he met the Lord Buddha. As soon as he met Reverend Assaji was an enlightened monk. And when Sariputta met Reverend Assaji, Sariputta asked, "Your senses are very pleasant. Your behavior is very calm and quiet. If you know something, please explain me what you know, what you practice." Then you know, Reverend Assaji explained only one stanza. When he was explaining the stanza, Reverend Sariputta could attain the first level of spirit, the first level of enlightenment, Sotapanna. And after that, he asked, "Who is your teacher?" And Reverend Sariputta went to the Lord Buddha, finding him. And actually, after he attained enlightenment, although he was the Dhammasenadipati or the commander of the Dhamma, but he was so humble. And he gave the chances to others every moment. When there were many monks in the forest, in the monastery, sometimes he slept under a tree, giving his hut to other monks, giving his room to other monks. That is the nature of his being humble. Okay, that is also one of the qualities that we should practice. All of them are in first stanza. The second stanza, it says, "Santussa kocha subarocha appachichocha sallahuka vutti santindriyocha nipakocha appagabbo kulesu ananukiddo." Santussa kocha subarocha. Santussa means we should try to be satisfied what already we have. Satisfaction. You know, the nature of the human mind is always we find something. Always we are unsatisfied. We are finding more things again and again. That is the nature of the human mind. But, you know, what we have, we should be satisfied. It doesn't sound that we earn more, but we can find more. But the thing is, if we want to be happy, we should be satisfied. What we have, what is our courage, what is our strength. According to our strength, according to our properties, we should be satisfied in our life. Satisfaction also is one of the qualities that we should have. You know, we mostly think that the better day is not this day, next day. Always we are finding the better day next. But that day never comes until we die. Therefore, we should mention that the best day, the best moment is this moment. That's the thing. If we like to be happy, we should develop this attitude. That is very important. Satisfaction or being satisfied. And subara. Subara is another quality that we should have. Subara means easy to support. Subara. You know, there are some persons, it is very difficult to satisfy them. You know, there are some persons, they need a lot of things. We also have sometimes our children, sometimes our mother and father, they want a lot of things. They are not satisfied even they have a lot of things. They ask again and again, I want this one, I want this one. Actually, if a person who are in the path of liberation, we should have few needs. Then it is very easy to support. It is very easy to live. If we have a lot of needs, then it means that our relatives, our friends are not happy with us. You know, there are some persons, they think that although I have only met, it's enough for me. I can live anywhere. Especially, you know, in Asian countries, like our Sri Lanka, we can live everywhere. Even under a tree, even midnight, we can sleep. Because weather always helps us. Then, sometimes, there are some monks who never use shoes. You know, even we didn't use shoes. It doesn't need, actually, according to our weather. It is not a very essential need. Then sometimes in the young age, we usually don't use shoes. We mostly use shoes when we go out from the house. When we go for a wedding, no, very especially, we should wear shoes. Actually, it is very easy to live, and on the other hand, if we need few things, then it is very easy to go on this path, especially monks. We have only 3 robes and bowl. Buddha says monk is like a bird who has only both wings. Monks have only 3 robes, like this, both robes and very small robes and begging bowl. And only these things a monk should have. They are very easy to support. Especially Buddha says, as monks, we should be like a bee. Yes, we should be bees. Like, you know, bees doesn't disturb to the flowers, although they drink Yes, although they drink the sense of flower, they don't disturb the flower. We also should be like that, because when we live in a temple or in a forest, we live from the supports of lay people, and we should not disturb them. I want this thing, this thing. We should not tell it. It is not good. And here, not only even monks, but as lay people, all of us have to practice this quality. That is very important. The other thing is suvachocha, santusakocha, subarocha, appakichocha. Appakicha means being less busy. When we think the current society, sometimes you may think that it is difficult to apply, but we should understand what is the essential thing that we should do. We should have some kind of limitations in our schedule. Then we can find what are the most important things. Then, because our life is very valuable. If a person would like to get the result from his life, we should understand what are the very essential things that we should do. And then we have to avoid something which are not essential. Then we spend our life more for spiritual development, doing few essential things. That is also very important. Some people think that we are so busy. Some our devotees, they think that we are engineers, we are doctors, we are scientists in the NASA. We are so busy, we can practice this. Actually, practicing Buddhism is like breathing in and out. We should spend our life only for listening to this message. Practicing is like, breathing in and out. When we are going to breathe, we don't waste anything. Breathe in and life is same time. And therefore, we have to practice only mindfulness. If we can live with mindfulness, living in the present moment, with good attention, what we do, it means always we are in meditation. Next one, appakichocha sallahupa buddhi. Sallahupa means being simple. Being simple means when we use something, we should be simple. You can understand what I mean. Simple means if we use some clothes or some instruments or something, if you are simple, it is very easy to live. Some people want many goods in their house. Actually, if you have a lot of things in the house, we have to clean them, wash them. When they break, we get upset. Then, in current society, there are some people, especially in Sri Lanka, in Colombo, some people who are well-educated people. They have no more things in their house. They have only very essential few things in their houses. That is very nice. Sometimes I have been some houses, that there are some houses like Bhavana centers. Their house is very calm and quiet. There are no lot of things. They have only the very essential things in their houses. Even though they are well educated or even though they have a lot of money, they don't spend money for many things. That is one of the qualities that we should do who is on the path of liberation. And also santusakocha, subarocha, appakichocha, sallahagutti, santindriyocha. Santindriya means santa indriya. Indriya means senses. Santa means controlling senses. We have a discipline in our senses. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, we should have a discipline in our senses. That is very important. If always we run along our senses, it means we can get the result from our life. You know, there are some people, as soon as they hear something, they run to the sounds what they listening. When they see something, they want to buy it, they want to look at it again and again. They have no control of their senses. Therefore, controlling of senses is also very important. And for that, first of all, we should understand these qualities, but later, Buddha says, ayatana kusalata, the skillfulness in senses. What is the skillfulness of senses? When we see something, we should have an ability to understand this experience was not here before I have this experience. After this experience, it doesn't remain. According to conventional truth, before we have some kind of experience, it was here. After experience, it remains. According to conventional truth, it is true. Buddhism doesn't neglect it. You know, everything, every rules and regulations, everything in the world depends on this truth, conventional truth. But according to ultimate truth, according to final truth, that conventional truth is not true. According to ultimate truth, the experience arises in this moment when senses start. When senses are active, the experience arises. This sound arises this moment, and suddenly it ceased. What we see, what we look at through our eyes also like that. Smell, feeling, everything also in the present moment. That is the nature of the impermanence. What Buddha said as dependent origination, Paticca. This is the Paticca. If we are clever to understand this truth, as soon as we look at something, as soon as we hear something, as soon as we smell something, as soon as we eat something, if we have this ability to understand, this experience arises this moment. As soon as we experience something, if we have this comprehension, it means we have the proficiency, we have the skillfulness in senses. This is the real skillfulness we should have. Then that is one of the qualities that we should have, controlling in senses. And Nipaka. Nipaka is the other qualities that we should have. Discretion, intelligence or wisdom. Actually, all qualities can be included in one thing, that intelligence. But Buddha has separated this quality again. Intelligence means seeing impermanence. Intelligence can be divided into two. One of them is the understanding of karmic law. Intelligence, wisdom, or right understanding that Buddhism says can be divided into two. One of them is the understanding of karmic law. What we do with our mind, we will have the same results according to our mental condition. If we do something with wicked mind, we will have the bad results because of polluted mind. If we do something with pure mind, we will have the fruitful results because of pure mind. This is the first step of the knowledge of intelligence or wisdom. As much as we have this understanding, we try to avoid evil and we try to practice good. Because we know very well, we don't like to be unhappy. If we do some bad deeds with wicked mind, we will get upset. We don't like get suffering. Therefore, we try to avoid, we try to go away from evil. On the other hand, Buddha says, practicing good, practicing merit means decorating your mind. We mostly decorate our clothes, our physical body, our shoes, our hair. We always decorate by, it is also good, but Buddhism says us the importance of decorating your mind, decorating our mind. How do we decorate our mind? Doing good, practicing generosity, practicing morality, practicing meditation. Those are the things that hold some deeds. The way that we decorate our mind. And here, intelligence, the first step of intelligence is understanding of karmic law. The second step of intelligence is understanding of impermanence. Arising and ceasing. Every moment the experience arises and ceases. When we think something, that is our world. That is our life. When you think your parents, you are a daughter. When you think your job, you are a nurse, you are a doctor. When you think your husband, you are a wife. When you think your children, you are a mom, you are a dad. When you think your vehicle, you are the owner of the vehicle. At once we have one experience, that is our life. But we think that I have children, I have parents, I have a job, I have a vehicle, I have a lot of things in my home. Although we think that we have a lot of things, it is true according to conventional truth, but according to ultimate truth, that we have only one experience at once. That is our life. When you think something, that is only your life, then other things are dead. As Buddha said. When you see something, your other senses are dead. Your other things are like dead. This is the nature of our life. Therefore, we have to be succeed. We have to be successful at once, one moment. If we can succeed this present moment, it sounds that our entire life is successful. That is why we have to practice mindfulness. Then, that is the nature of wisdom. What is the next one? According to Stanza? Nipaka. We discussed Nipaka. Nipaka means intelligence or discretion. And Appagabho. Appagabha means not impudence, not stubborn. You can understand what is stubborn? Can you explain? What is stubborn? Mr. David, please explain stubborn.
Well, someone who's stubborn is not, doesn't really change their mind very easily. They believe that they are correct.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes. Yes, they are not ready to change their idea, change their what they believe. They think that only they are correct. Stubborn means. Buddha says, sometimes he says, if somebody thinks that if I am only correct, it is a big mistake. Then there are a lot of people in the world who are in the correct way, correct path. But there are some people, they are not ready to listen to others because they think they are correct, they are perfect. Then we here it says that we think that we have to learn something. We have to go forward with acquiring something. That is this quality. That is the nature of this quality. And in Sinhala language, it says very special word in our language, Dhammagaru. And also that is in Sinhala language. Pragalba. In Sanskrit language, it says Pragalba. Pragalba means he don't care others. He don't care any person. There were some monks too in Buddha's period. Like Reverend Channa. He who went to the jungle with Prince Siddhartha. Minister Channa. Yes, actually he became a monk. But when Buddha lived, he couldn't achieve enlightenment because he was so stubborn. That is why he couldn't achieve enlightenment. Therefore, other monks were gathered and they decided to not to speak with him. Then after they made that rule, Reverend corrected himself, and finally he could attain enlightenment. And also next one, Kulesu Ananukiddo, less attachment to families. Always we are with the family members and enjoying with them. It is good as social beings, but on the path of liberation, it is disturbed for our life. Therefore, Buddhism doesn't say that we should not do our duties or responsibilities actually as parents, as children, as workers. We have to do our duties, responsibilities very well. But we should not have more attachment with our family members. While we are doing our responsibilities, little by little, we should go away to develop our mind. Then actually it doesn't sound that we don't do our duties. Actually, after this understanding, after this knowledge, we fulfill our duties than we did before. Now we do our responsibilities as material things. After this experience, we try to give some advice for them to develop their mental conditions too. That is the nature of this understanding. The next one, Nachakuddha Samachare Kinchi Yena Vinyu Pare Upavadeyu. It is a very special quality that should we have. Having moral fear and shame for even slightest wrong conduct. We should have fear and shame that even few things which other wise people criticize us. That is why Buddha says, when you do something, when we speak something, you reflect on it again and again, whether wise people criticizes you. Anyway, what we do, some people criticize. We can control them, but Buddha said, if wise people criticize you, you should be careful. You should have fear and shame whether wise people criticize you. That is the thing. Although many people criticize you, Buddhism say it is not a problem. Many people sometimes may be mad people. Yes, even one intelligent person who is very wise, we should be careful about their criticism. That is important when we do something. Okay, these are the qualities that we should practice at the very beginning as virtue, as discipline in our moral life. And this is the first step according to 3 disciplines, virtue, these 15 qualities. Although there are 15 qualities, all of them can be included into 2. Don't worry that we have to practice 15. When you practice only 2, other 15 qualities gradually increase. what those both qualities, two qualities that we should have: intelligence and honesty. If you are honest, if you are intelligent, according to what Buddha said, then other qualities gradually develop, grow. And after, yes, Mr. David?
So I've heard some people say, or some, I don't know if it monks, but like some teachers say, there's sometimes when you shouldn't be honest, like if somebody's life is in danger, right? Like or if somebody could be killed, or so what do you think about that?
Yeah, we should not only be honest, we should be intelligent. When both are together, we have no problem. That is why, yes, Buddha said that we should practice compassion and wisdom, intelligence. When both of them are together, we are clever to avoid it. We are clever to overcome problems. Yes, I think you can understand. Then the second step is, there are 6 stanzas describe how we practice loving kindness. This is also very important quality. If somebody wishes to achieve enlightenment or peace of mind, without practicing loving kindness, we have no peace of mind. Yes. If you don't practice loving kindness, be sure we are not on the path of liberation. We mostly suffer because of anger. If we can reduce anger gradually, it means gradually we are reducing our suffering, our defilement. That is why always Buddha has emphasized the importance of practicing loving kindness. Then there are 6 stanzas which has described the importance of loving kindness for everybody in the world, not only for human beings, even animals, small beings, big beings, every beings. For every beings, we have to practice loving kindness. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Again and again, when we practice this concept, when we practice this doctrine, we are able to understand a person. As soon as we look at a person, as soon as we meet a person, we have an attitude that that person is my only son or daughter. We are ready to look at others as our only son or daughter. Then we have no problems, we have no criticisms, because our heart is very warm with everybody. Then this is the second step. The first one is virtue, the second one is concentration. Practicing loving kindness, not only practicing loving kindness, reducing anger, but this is one of the techniques of concentration. You know, according to Buddhism, there are 40 techniques in meditation. One of them is meditation, loving kindness. Day by day, try to start loving kindness with 5 minutes per day. Day by day, try to develop it. That is very important. In final stanza, it says the importance of wisdom. Dittincha anupagamma silava dakkanena sampanno kamesu vinayyagedan nahi jatu gabbaseyyan punareti. Dittincha anupagamma, not going to extreme views, living in the middle and avoiding getting rid of craving. If a person can practice this path, that person can achieve some kind of enlightenment steps, levels. And also, as the practicing of these qualities, he never come to a womb, mother's womb. What does that mean? If somebody doesn't come back to womb, it means he doesn't come to back this world. It means he completely enlightened. You know, there are some human realms, some heavenly realms. They were born not from a womb. Suddenly they appear in the world, especially in the heavenly and Brahma realms. There are both steps as the practicing of these doctrines. We have both results. One of them is Anagami, the second one is Arahanta. Arahanta, who is a perfect enlightenment person, he never comes to the world. As soon as he passes away, his sansaric journey is finished. He has ended his sansaric journey. There are some persons who attain Anagami steps. There are 4 steps in enlightenment. Sovan, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat. Sotapanna is the first step. If a person becomes the first step, Sotapanna, he has maximally 7 lives. He has no 8 lives. Within 7 lives, he will complete his enlightenment. Anagami person has only 1 birth. It also only in the Brahma realm. He never comes to the human realm or heavenly realm. He will be born only Brahma realm, and he will attain highest level enlightenment there. As the result of practicing this path, Buddha said, one of the results is somebody can achieve full enlightenment, and somebody can achieve the Anagami, who will be born in the Brahma realm. And there is a very special word in this stanza, Dittincha Anupagamma. We should not achieve, we should not go to the extremes. What is the extremes that Buddhism says? One of them is, some people think that there is no world. Nihilism. And also there are some people who think that the world is continuously goes. Both of them are extremes. Some people think that after death we have nothing. Some people think that continuously we will be born again and again. Both of them are extremes. You know, there are some religions in the world, and there are some people in the world, they don't believe rebirth, and they think that we have nothing after death. It is one of the extremes. There are some religions like Hinduism. They think that there is a certain soul or ego or spirit. It goes from birth to birth continuously without breaking anything. That is also some kind of extreme. It says in Buddhism, Sasata Ditti. And also other things is Uchcheda Ditti. Both of them are extremes. Buddhism explains the rebirth, not going these extremes. That is the interesting thing in Buddhism. You know, there are some people question, as your son questioned, how we explain rebirth without explaining certain soul or ego or spirit. That is the answer in Buddhism. Buddhism explains this sansaric journey dependent origination. Asmin sati idang hoti, asmin asati danna hoti. It means when conditions are together, we have experience, we have some kind of experience through our senses. Then the conditions separate, the experience ceases. Asmin sati means if we know this, when we look at something, when other conditions like our attention, our mind, these are the conditions. When all of them are together, we can see a picture. And also suddenly, when conditions separate or go away, the experience ceases at the moment without remain anything. Then that is the thing, that is the way Buddhism explains this samsaric journey. Then our mind, every moment, it arises and ceases. According to mind, we have a physical thing. Then both of them are together. Every moment, it changes, and also it goes to next step, remaining anything, without remaining anything. That is the difference. It is a big concept in Buddhism. We have to listen in it again and again. However, if we think that there is a thing which goes from birth to birth as a certain thing, it is not Buddhism. It is a big mistake. If you think that we have not enough experience, that is also some kind of misattitude, misview. The reason is, again, we can generate, we can origin, we can create that experience when conditions arise. This is the thing that last stanza describes. Dittin chanupagamma, not going to the extremes. If someone can develop his mental condition, mental development being in the middle, then gradually he reduces craving, lust. Then if we know this reality, gradually our big attachment, desire, craving, lust gradually ceases. And for that we have to practice again and again samatha and vipassana, mindfulness and wisdom. And this is the thing which this Metta Sutta describes. You can read after you go home, and you can improve your knowledge according to this handout. And if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, Mr. David. Mr. David is a professor in Cal State, and sometimes he asks some things that we don't know. He is our close friends,
It's interesting, the Pali.
Yes, Pali also here, one by one, Actually, I get this translation from another article, but I added some new words among the sentences. Yes. You can understand some words because he learned the language. Okay. Now we are going to end our weekly Dhamma session. I appreciate your participation, and we described the very important discourse in Buddhism, Metta Sutta or Karani Metta Sutta. It comes in, Sutta Nipata and Kuddaka Pata, and this is one of the blessing discourse. We mostly chant some kind of special blessing discourses in Buddhism. This is one of them. As Buddhists, we usually recite this is Karani Metta Sutta. Most of Buddhists can say this stanza by their heart, and also actually we mostly think that this is only blessing, but actually not. This is not only a blessing, but this is the qualities that we can practice in our day-to-day life. And also we can understand, some psychologists, some social scientists, they also have explained some kind of qualities that we have to improve our life, that all of them are here. But they mostly don't explain that the honesty or something, or intelligence. They think that we should have a good figure, guts, and like long hair, eye contact. Those are the things they have recommended. But These are the things that we should practice for our inner happiness. If we have these qualities, we have everything, every good qualities. Okay. Thank you for your participation for this Dhamma session. I appreciate your good attention, and by the power of all these merits, may our departed relatives also receive these merits. By receiving these merits, our beloved departed relatives also achieve good life, and finally may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives residing in the Pali stanza. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātinam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may divine being also receive these merits. Receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodanto samba sampatti sindhiya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodanto samba sampatti. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya Sambe deva anumodanto samba sampatti sindhiya. By the power of all these merits, may no harm come to you, may no problems come to you, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous goals meet with success, may you attain final bliss of liberation. Dukkham panta ca niddukkha bhayam panta ca nidbhaya sokam panta ca nissoka hanto sambe pipanino. May the triple gem bless you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.